Hey everybody, good noon or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the country. I hope you're doing well. Without any further ado, I'm announcing from the White House, which actually, without any further ado, I'm announcing from the White House, which actually sent this executive order approximate at the top of the hour, last hour, or 11 o'clock. It reads as this. It reads just like this. Uh, Executive order, excuse me, further extending the TikTok enforcement delay. Further extending the TikTok enforcement delay. And in order for you to see what I am reading, I will put this in a Google Doc and then take that Google Doc and advance it so you can see it within, and I'm doing that right now, so you'll be able to do that within seconds. Right here. So there's that. And there. Okay. So I've got that up. Going back to where we are at TikTok here. Thank you for joining me. And momentarily, I will have that right over here. So, through the magic of technology, as they say, we have, there it is. And there that is. All right. Now, I think you would appreciate it if I enlarged the document, right? And that is what I'm going to do through the magic of this zoom. Zoom in and then further move this way, like that. Probably better if I just downloaded it, huh? Let me do that. And I can get it centered. Download to Microsoft Word, document, and then open it like so. Excuse me, folks, that's going to entail a new go, as they say. Yeah, here it is. So I will come back here, and then I will further center it so you can see, because right now it's off center, right? Don't worry, I'm going to straighten that out in a few seconds. But the bottom line is that the TikTok ban will be extended to, here we are, okay, will be extended to September 17th. September 17th. And so it reads as follows. Let me see how it looks for us over here. But yeah, it is there. That's also small. I'm going to enlarge it more. And let me zoom in to 150%. Yep, and I can zoom in a little bit more to, I think I'm going to zoom into 200%. See what that gets us. That's better. All right. Now, by the authority invested in me as president by the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered, Section 1 extension, the enforcement delay specified in Section 2A of Executive Order 14166 of January 20th of this year, application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act to TikTok as extended by Executive Order 14258 of April 4th, and is further extended until September 17th. During this period, the Department of Justice will take no action to enforce the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act or impose any penalties against any entity for noncompliance with the Act, including for distributing, maintaining, or updating, or enabling the distribution, maintenance, or updating of any foreign adversary control application as defined in the Act. In light of this direction, even after the expiration of the above specified period, the Department of Justice shall not take any action to enforce the Act against TikTok or impose any penalties against any entity for any conduct that occurred during the above specified period or any period prior to the issuance of this order, including the time period from January 19, 2025 until the date of this order. The Attorney General shall take all appropriate action to issue written guidance to implement the provision of subsection A of this section. The Attorney General shall further issue a letter to each provider stating that there has been no violation of the statute and that there is no liability for any conduct that occurred during the above specified period, as well as for any conduct from the effective date of the act until the date of this order. D. Because of the national security interests at stake and because Section 2D of the Act vests authority for investigations and enforcement of the Act only in the Attorney General, attempted enforcement by the states or private parties represents an encroachment on the powers of the executive. The Attorney General shall exercise all available authority to preserve and defend the executive's exclusive authority to enforce the act. These are common boilerplate words. So let's talk about this action of this decision by President Trump to delay the enactment of the laws that say, hey, basically you're a foreign power owning this entity, and we think that because of your designation as that, guess what? You are national security risk. Well, this statement, this act by the president is a statement that TikTok is not still a national security risk. And that's what is the news here. Beyond that, is there any other part of the statute that we should pay attention to? Well, no. But if you like, I can actually present it again right there, where we can go down to Section 2, which is what it called general provisions. And that area reads as follows. It says, general provisions, nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by a law to an executive department, agency, or head or thereof, the functions of the director of the Office of Management and Budget related to budgetary, administrative, or legislative proposals. The order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to availability of appropriations. This language, again, is standard for executive orders. This isn't exclusive to the TikTok order. And it ends, of course, signed Donald J. Trump, the White House, June 19th, 2025. And that's it, folks. As Bugs Bunny would say. That's it. So what does this all mean? It means that TikTok gets a reprieve. It gets to continue its operation. And that's it. Now, what are the reactions on Twitter? Well, that's a very good question. Let's see if we can find out real quick. TikTok doesn't even register. Let's have a look here, folks. So I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Hey, everybody. This TikTok news doesn't even register on Twitter as being that important, right? I will show you what I'm looking at as justification for my statement. Here's search under TikTok, there, all right? And what comes up? But something having nothing to do with this. It's Cory Booker is the first one in 3 hours, giving an important history lesson from the grandmother of Juneteenth herself. Happy Juneteenth. All right. And then a group of New York City College students is going viral for spreading Black Boy Joy. And Patriot takes Trump has failed again to make a deal to keep TikTok, and has signed another executive order postponing the ban for 90 days. So, and he put this in Truth Social, as well as sending the executive order. Zenny 60 Media is on the White House press list. That's how I got it. Okay, so the comment here among magnet types is, if TikTok is a quote national security threat, why is Trump giving it 3 more months? Either he's bluffing or just bad at governing. Donald Trump, says Vince Wilson, is incapable of making deals. Jeremy says Trump will be a lame duck president. The Possum Politics says 90 more days for China to collect data. That's the golden age. And Slingshot News has something in an ad about China's battery monopoly. Civics and civility are essential rights. It's such a, quote, national security issue that it needs to be deferred another 90 days. And then Ryan says somebody should tell this guy about Taco Tuesday. At least it would be funny, a little bit funny, if it was on a Tuesday. Updated. And Donald Trump basically, Trump extended the ban 90 days because 90 spies from the People's Republic of China once stayed at Mar-a-Lago. Art of the deal. Can this guy make any deals? Imagine being proud of giving yourself more time to get a deal that most likely will fail. Also, is his KKK signature getting larger? Taco strikes again. Taco is his new name. Why doesn't he just give up? Randy says he isn't looking to make a deal right now with TikTok. He knows it's a great political tool and he will wait for the right moment. And so, oh gosh, I'm not even going to bother to show that. Victor says, an aside, but I don't understand how that signature is his name. And Kurt Coney writes, the deal maker, 90 deals in 90 days. These 90 days are like me promising my daughter a puppy I will buy tomorrow. Hazel says, it's almost like it was never a national security threat in the first place. Russ Acorn says he's always putting on things. Healthcare concept in 2 weeks. It's been years. Trade deals? Time to Hunt says, the problem with all of this is that it's a law. He is breaking law. You can't usurp the law with an executive order. Kay says his signature is getting larger by the month. Next year, there will need to be an attachment page just to have space for his signature. Miss Red Dog says he's too busy watching flagpoles go up. And Holly says that signature is both aggressive and insane. Laidback Assassin says he's waiting on their crypto bribe to come through. DJL says, I didn't think he could just keep postponing this by executive order. This signature is ridiculous. Technically, and that's a good question. Can he do it or Congress can? Sir Chai says, hey, Sir Chai. Hey, Sir Chai, I only have one comment from you. How are you doing? You said did my comments go through? You're not blocked. So obviously you can see it by here, yeah. But your comments went through. What do you have to say about this, Sir Chai? And let's dive in and chop it up here. What do I think about the delay on the TikTok ban? Well, as a proud YouTuber who has always had concerns about TikTok's existence from day one, and didn't use it. I have a profile on TikTok for other reasons, but I am not a regular user of TikTok. I am a YouTuber. I go back to the found the year that YouTube is created. To me, it's a Bay Area thing, San Francisco Bay Area, because it's created in San Bruno, and that's how I look at it. I think that TikTok's termination would be fantastic for my video bottom line, because all of you TikTok viewers would bring your action back to YouTube. Or for those of you who discovered TikTok while you were becoming of age where you can make content, would then move over to YouTube, which would be great for me because that's where my videos lay. Now, there are other people who are, on TikTok, they're all over the place, and that's a good idea too. And I had thought about that, but here's my issue with TikTok. TikTok, the last time I checked, doesn't have the kind of partner program that YouTube does. And if I were new to the TikTok sphere, which technically I'm not, but in terms of making content, I don't know how long it would take me to ramp up for the return of that to be meaningful. Does that make sense? Still, it's something that I've thought about it, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm thinking about it because there's so much content. There's so many people making vlogs that you really have to spread out your content just as we did initially. And when I started on this matter of making content to begin with, and video on YouTube, I use something called Tube Mogul. And Tube Mogul was a creation that was actually presented to me at the first Northern California convention for vloggers called VloggerCon. Actually, it was the first convention on the West Coast. This was in San Francisco. And a gentleman gave me his 8x11 on TubeMogul, and TubeMogul allowed you to upload your video into his page, and you would have different accounts for these different video platforms: YouTube, Dailymotion at the time, Blip TV, okay? And you could then push a button and phew, the video was spread to all these different areas. A great idea then, a great idea now. But I've become more interested in getting compensated for the content that I produce rather than just having it out there for free. Now, it's great if you have an advertiser or a sponsor, and then you're promoting that advertiser or sponsor, right? But if you're doing it and you have video out there that isn't monetized, it will get in the way of your video that is monetized in search. All right? Let me explain that. Let me explain what I mean there. It's if you do a search for a topic, and let's say you made videos on it, and let's say you did the spray pattern, right? So let's say that your TikTok video, which has poor monetization, because TikTok does compared to YouTube, appears on the top of search over your YouTube video. Who gets hurt? You do. Now, if you had a sponsor, it wouldn't matter, right? Because all of your videos are seen. So my thought is, hey, look, if I have a sponsor and then it's my responsibility to get that sponsor's word out, then yeah, I'll use the spread part approach. But if it's just for my YouTube videos, which are already monetized, to get as much exposure as possible, then I'm gonna work on distributing that video. All right, because I don't want to cannibalize myself. That's the idea. So, all right. So there you go. All right. So I think we've covered that. No one should try. I don't see any other comments from you. You asked if did my comments go through, and yes, they did. So maybe you could, type something else. Are you even still there? It's amazing with this system. I can't tell. Well, it's down to one, and I'm going to have to assume that one isn't Sir Chai. So whatever. I don't know. Maybe Sir Chai's mad about something. Oh, here he is. Sir Chai writes, how is feel? The only effect is OnlyFans and yeah. Oh, Sir Chai says this only affects the OnlyFans and Instagram model crowd. Actually, I disagree with that because some of those folks do put their stuff on YouTube. And also, there's Twitch as well. So as far as a YouTube partner, it affects me too. Because any entity that takes eyeballs away from YouTube means that my videos are that much less likely to be seen. And if my videos are that much less likely to be seen, that means I'm losing potential revenue. All right, so it definitely affects the YouTube crowd too. I don't get the OnlyFans thing at all. I don't see where that's coming from. OnlyFans. When I think of OnlyFans, I don't think of Instagram And Instagram actually has a lot more content than just models, although the model content is pretty doggone good. So, there you go. So, there you go. I think we probably have taken this as far as we can go. So, I'm going to focus on next talking about, not here, but in a new live stream, Sophie Cunningham of the WNBA. She's in the news too. So I'll be back, folks, very soon. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark ZennyReport.com. Oh, by the way, have you seen ZennyReport.com? I'm very proud, if I may say so briefly, of the advancement of this newest in news technology, this fast, wonderful site that is the flagship of the Zenny62 media line of news platforms. Ta-da! There it is. First of all, folks, look at how adroitly it moves. And look at that. This video is automatically on Zenny Report here. Automatically. All you have to do, when you see this, you click on it, click on here or there, it will change over quickly, right, to this content. And all you have to do is push this button and quickly, right, voila. This content, and all you have to do is push this button and quickly, right, voila. This content, and all you have. This is cool. You got to admit, this is cool, all right? The only thing I need to change is where it says more videos. I need to make all of these videos Zenny62 YouTube videos. I'm working on it, all right? And then it has the executive order list here. All this is automatic, all right? And look at the spacing. Look at that spacing, folks. All this is automatic. Isn't that cool? All right, I didn't have to move a muscle, Sir Chai. Nothing. This is the system I built. Woohoo! If you're out there as an investor, please think about the news implications here. Think about them. Think about how fast we can get news out in different types. Video, text, just in seconds. This is cool. You got to admit, this is cool. Sir Chai says, yes. Okay? This is cool. All right? I'm very proud of this. And this is Zenny Report is the latest of our sites to have it. We also have NFL News by Zenny62.com. But Zenny Report is our rolling technological test bed. And then what works here at Zenny Report, I then transfer to the other news posts or news platforms that we control and own. All right. So there it is, folks. There it is. And but I think I'm really anxious to get to Sophie Cunningham, so I will say I'll see you soon. Very, very soon. Stick around. Give me approximately, I would say 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops. But that ends the stream.